Well, again, thanks for joining us. We're giving you the latest update as far as we're concerned. Already, we've been told that 9 persons have sustained gunshot wounds in Tamale, who are supporters of the MPP. They were shot by unidentified men in a moving taxi, as well as one on a motorbike. And so far, they've been admitted at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. And authorities, that is the police authorities in Tamale, also have said so far security have been beefed up, particularly following this very event, to make sure that nothing untoward happens. But how will the MPP as a party move forward following this very conference and all the issues that have been highlighted in the media, particularly those disagreements and those challenges that have confronted the party? How will they make sure that that sense of unity of purpose is maintained following this very event? We have on the line political science expert as well as an international relations expert, Dr. Agridakum, with the University of Ghana, to speak to us. A very good morning to you, Dr. Agridakum, and thanks for making way and having the time to speak to us. Now, particularly, how would you, by your own observations, say has been the event so far in the media as it's played out among the various personalities and all the issues they've said in preparations for this very conference?
Thank you very much, and good morning to your listeners.
Morning.
If you look at party organizations and if you look at democratic systems, normally we say that political parties are ubiquitous in any democracy. They are very important actors, whether you like it or not. They must serve as avenues for recruitment of political leaders. They serve as avenue for training. Sometimes they serve as avenue for education of the electorate, and sometimes even misinformation and so on and so forth. So all in all, you find political parties playing critical role, whether in government and out of government. Of course, when you are in government, then you have a unique opportunity of trying to, as it were, roll out policies and programs that will fulfill most of the manifesto promises to the people, and so you put yourself in good stead to capture power or to retain power subsequently. You find yourself in a position, you have a Herculean task, especially in our part of the world where incumbency advantage is almost always exploited, to the disadvantage of those in your position. So you have all what we call the patronage advantages available to you as a government in power. And of course, you also will have the opportunity to make all the mistakes if you are also in government. And then that can also go against you. But if you find yourself in a position and you want to wrestle power, then there are a number of things that you need to do. One, how do you conduct yourself such that the party will be seen as credible alternative to the ruling government? That's one. Secondly, how do you even critique major policies and programs? And how do you position yourself to offer constructive alternatives, not offer constructive criticisms? So people will see that if you are given the opportunity, you're going to do something different. How do you propose to deal with some of these issues like endemic corruption that we experience? How do you put your house in order? How do you interrogate various party issues without necessarily descending into the gutters, as sometimes you see in some of these juggling for positions within the parties and so on? And of course, if you look at the MPP and if you look at Ghana generally, we have experienced what Samuel Huntington will refer to as a 2-10-over test. In other words, in 2000, we had alternation, political party alternation or power alternation. In 2008, we also experienced power alternation. Now, that said, that should give the key actors, the key political parties, the experience to be able to conduct themselves very well in a run-up to even major elections or even elections within their own party as a way of demonstrating their democratic credentials and so on. But as any human institution, sometimes you have people in there who, because of inordinate ambition, sometimes they desire for what I will refer to as certainty at all costs. The fact that they want to win at all costs. Sometimes we adopt all sorts of methods, including unconventional methods, just so that they can win the slot. Yes. And it can be damaging.
Now, particularly for a party as important as the MPP, because it is the biggest opposition party. It has been a party that has been in office before, and so is a major stakeholder as far as Ghana's political process is concerned. How do they make sure they're able to manage some of these difficulties and disagreements, usually played out in the media, so that it doesn't affect not only the intra-party politicking, but also how they are perceived by external stakeholders like the electorates and perhaps also observers just outside the political space?
Yeah, thank you very much. That's the point I was emphasizing, that once you have people or parties which have experienced political power, you would think that they would have reached some level of maturation, and that perhaps will guide their conduct. But as human beings, sometimes the experiences that we have, perhaps sometimes we don't think in time, and we disregard the experiences of the past. You are also, as a political party, MPP, will also be coming against an incumbent president, hopefully, who is still interested in continuing. And so that, presents a very Herculean, task, for the MPP. Of course, a government in power, as I indicated, has all the patronage advantages, has all the incumbency advantage, the state machinery behind, the president and so on. And so you need to be tactical. You need to you need to have all hands on deck. You don't play into the court of the opponent, for instance. But, sometimes if the processes are not fair to some actors, why not? You expect them to talk. But you also expect that they will be rigorous and civil in some of these comments, and how because sometimes when you are critiquing your own, party dynamics and internal party arrangement, you are careful not to give your opponent a lot of ammunition. Because a lot of things that you say, if you are not careful, are the very things that the opponents are going to use against you in the elections. And that may resonate, with the people, because they will have you on tape, they will have the experience, the evidence to demonstrate that, look, it's like you contesting a particular candidate. And instead of you highlighting the advantages that you have, the competences, the experiences, and the capacity to address the critical problems facing the party, you will see, more often than not, you will see individuals attacking other personalities and literally, descending into the gutters.
Okay.
And if you are not fortunate, for instance, and that party, the person that you are rubbishing wins, you're giving a lot of ammunition to your opponent, and that can really undermine your own chances of actually winning, the election. But no, Roland, you realize that, or you reckon that we have factions in every system.
Definitely.
In every system there are factions. But how do you manage the factions such that they don't behave like worms in the bowels of the organization? And if they behave like worms in the bowels of the organization, I tell you, they will undermine the future prospects of that organization. So it is a test of leadership, really, to see how these dissenting views and these seeming tensions, foreign tensions, and some of these cleavages are dealt with in a manner that will still, keep the unity of the party intact, going forward to contest the 2016 election. But of course, individual ambitions, you cannot disregard some of these people trying to use other methods other than what the party perhaps has prescribed. Yes.
For you political scientists and international relations experts, some of the inordinate variables that you pick up and the observations that you pick up. For example, in Africa, issues of regional balance and ethnicity don't go away, and they would always be part of our politics. Now, secondly, benchmarks like whether a government is doing well in managing a certain setup or the economy is also a benchmark for saying whether that party will be retained in office or not. And if such opportunities present themselves and people jostle for positions because perhaps it is time for whoever is incumbent to go because of perhaps the precedent of two-time office sharing that we've experienced in Ghana, would that in any way affect outcomes of elections at all? Because, I mean, whoever will be elected, so it doesn't matter whoever wins. All that matters is for me to be in office.
Some. If you look at the social scientists, one of the things that we always struggle is to come out with definite laws about human behavior. Okay, and that is why the economists say they have crafted a very nice way out of this conundrum. And what they will tell you is that all things being equal, so they hold certain conditions constant, then they have propositions and so on. But you and I know that all things are never equal. so human beings, researchers will tell you that they are the most variable of all the variables, and therefore anything is possible. Yes, it's true that ethnicity sometimes shapes electoral outcomes. Sometimes people just look at where the person comes from and then just vote. But my personal take on this is that, look, if you are my brother and I think that you are not fit for a particular position, just for the sake of pride, because pride will not put food on my table. If you are my brother and you cannot deal with the issues that will affect me positively, unless it's just going to be some unilateral transfers by way of gift, it's different. But if you are building the capacity, then we need to know those who have the capacity to fix the problems. So of course, so when you come to party politics in Africa, all those variables count. Where the person comes from, that's important. How the person perhaps will resonate with the broad masses of the people, that's critical. Sometimes the likability of the candidate is also important. If the person is a unifier, it's very important. How the party itself will even constitute a campaign team is critical. You need to have people who are in there who can attract, and if you like, quote and unquote, who can win souls, if you like, and just go beyond the core support base. Because if you look at since especially after 2000, you realize that MPP and NDC, they have always gone beyond 44% even the first round. They've always gone beyond 44%. And what it means is that whether you like it or not, each of them is likely to get more than 44%. So you would need more than just your core support base to be able to win. And that is what makes the attraction of the party, or how attractive the party is to the rank and file, very significant. Because you cannot always rely on your core support base, let's say Ashanti or Voter, and some of the key actors to be able to win. You need to cut across. And being cutting across means that you need to put your house in order. Of course, we're talking about regional balance. And I think that as a country, Roland, one of the things that we should be doing, and those of you in the media, well, and of course those of us in academics, we have a huge responsibility in ensuring that, you see, a nation will be prosperous, okay, and will be enterprising if they are able to tap into the opportunities that diversity brings. So if you have a diversified, cultural area like Ghana, it must provide us a huge opportunity for us to leapfrog our development. It should provide, because people have different competences. So why don't we tap into all these advantages that diversity brings, and then forge ahead and develop our nation? Instead of, normally what we do during elections is that we seem to play the ethnic card, tap into the cleavages that already exist within our body politic, just for the purpose of winning elections.
And it cuts across all elections, even intra-party elections, etc. And
it does cut. It does. And what I'm saying is that you find out that inevitably you win elections, but you have a divided organization to contend with. And for me, that is where the devil is. Because, if you have a divide, so it means you are going to spend a lot of time trying to heal wounds instead of focusing on the real business of developing the nation. So you see that every now and then they are calling for unity, every now and then we are calling for closing our ranks.
And it's something that the MPP has to deal with, right?
No, it's something that all of them must look at it critically. Because whether we like it or not, we have different backgrounds, yes. Don't forget that if you look at Ghana, Ghana became Ghana through 4 different successive stages. You have the South, you have the colony, Ashanti, we had the Northern Territories, then we had the Trans-Volta Togoland. So through 4 different successive stages, that constitute Ghana as an entity. So it is important that in all our dealings, as I've said, indicated that one of the critical things that we could be doing as a people is let opportunities exist for all. It doesn't mean that for the sake of unbridled and unfettered, regional balance, even incompetent or ordinary people should be promoted into ordinary positions. That's not what I'm indicating. Yes, we should be mindful of that, but at the same time, also look for people who have what it takes to fix the problems that confront us on a daily basis. That is the way to move forward to people. Yes.
Thank you very much, Dr. Evans Agridaku. And again, we'll have to call on you anytime we need you, and we know that you're always on hand to help us with our analysis.
Why not? It's a community service, yes.
Thank you very much. Dr. Evans Agridaku is a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana, but also an international relations expert as well. And speaking to us on the conference that will be convened by the MPP in the Tamale regional capital, in the northern regional capital, Tamale, and where we're being told that 9 persons have sustained gunshot wounds, and it happened between the hours of 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. early this morning. And so far, those 9 suspected people who were shot by men in a moving taxi as well as a motorbike have so far been admitted and receiving some level of treatment. We're being told also by the police authorities in Tamale that all has remained calm, normalcy has returned, and will try to consolidate the level of security that has been put in place for the event. Again, we have our team there. They'll make sure that they give you the best as far as the best coverage is concerned on this very national delegates conference of the MPP taking place tomorrow, the 12th of April 2014. In the meantime, though, Rima and her team are ready. Actually, they've been ready for the last 20 minutes. Now we have to invite them in. They give us a little more tidbits as far as lifestyle is concerned. Do stay on. We'll be right back. Well, we'll have to go back to Tamale, where our correspondent Emmanuel Ante and his team, they've been to the Tamale Teaching Hospital and currently speaking to some of those affected victims of the shooting incident that happened between the hours of 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. this very dawn at Tamale, where according to the reports we're having, a group of MPP supporters were shot at by men in a movie taxi and also a motorbike. And Emmanuel Ante is ready with the live feed from the teaching hospital. On mission at the Tamale Teaching Hospital, and these victims were shot at, we're being told, are MPP members by men in a moving taxi and a motorbike. And you have Emmanuel Ante there, who is trying to get to officials of the hospital, speak to them, particularly ask them what really the condition of the victims of this morning's incident is. We're being told that these victims are MPP members who were shot at by men in a moving vehicle as well as a motorbike. They have sustained gunshot wounds and they are, as you can see, being treated at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. About 5,200 delegates of the MPP are expected to participate in the delegate conference inside the Tamale Sports Stadium from tomorrow, the 12th of April 2014. And apart from those delegates, we're going to have a number of observers as well as specially invited guests to witness the voting process. And the victims being shown to journalists and other reporters who are covering the issues and the sidelines of the very conference of the MPP.
It's a cowardly, barbaric and a dastardly act. I just can't understand why somebody would just open fire on unarmed civilians. This is despicable. So we woke up this morning, we've been going around trying to check up on them, and that's what I've been doing now. It's so barbaric, so barbaric.
But do you have confidence in the police with what has really happened? Do you still believe that the police can really take care of this conference?
I mean, first of all, I think... Take it easy. I think for the police already, you know, they are doing their best in terms of providing security for even our delegate who have been escorted to Tamale. I'm not too sure if they also expected some of these developments. Nonetheless, I think we need to get to the bottom of this matter. It's absolutely barbaric. Barbaric.
So what advice would you have for the NPP supporters who are there before the conference?
I think this is deliberate provocation. I think this is deliberate provocation, and for me, if we, you know, just to provoke our party supporters, I call on them to just remain calm as we get to the bottom of it. Thank you.
You will definitely
Emmanuel Lante speaking to Samuel Uku, and he's one of the contestants for the National Youth Organizer position of the MPP. Again, pictures coming from inside one of the theaters or the wards of the Tamale Teaching Hospital, where we have 9 victims of a gun shooting incident that occurred between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 or 4 a.m. In the Tamale metropolis. We're being told that the incident happened at a suburb, Abuabo to be more precise, and we've had correspondents who have said the police are pursuing the lead so far they've received and try to pick up from this very incident, and we'll make sure that investigations quickly commence to ensure whoever perpetrated this very incident is also apprehended. Well, so that's the incident there, but again, the Joynews team bringing you the best comprehensive coverage you can ever get as far as this very national delegates conference of the MPP is concerned. We know that it is taking place from tomorrow, Saturday, the 12th of April 2014, where we have about 5,200 delegates and over of the MPP who will be part of the voting process for various positions of personalities to occupy national executive positions of the party as well. And apart from those 5,200 delegates, there will also be observers as well as specially invited delegates for the event. They've been to the Tamale Teaching Hospital and currently speaking to some of those affected victims of the shooting incident that happened between the hours of 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. this very dawn at Tamale, where according to the reports we're having, a group of MPP supporters were shot at by men in a movie taxi and also a motorbike. And Emmanuel Lante is ready with the live feed from the teaching hospital. Operation at the Tamale Teaching Hospital, and these victims were shot at, we're being told, are MPP members by men in a moving taxi and a motorbike. And you have Emmanuel Lante there, who is trying to get to officials of the hospital, speak to them, particularly ask them what really the condition of the victims of this morning's incident is. We're being told that these victims are MPP members who were shot at by men in a moving vehicle as well as a motorbike. They have sustained gunshot wounds and they are, as you can see, being treated at the Tamale Teaching Hospital. About 5,200 delegates of the MPP are expected to participate in the delegate conference inside the Tamale Sports Stadium from tomorrow, the 12th of April 2014. And apart from those delegates, we're going to have a number of observers as well as specially invited guests to witness the voting process. And the victims being shown to journalists and other reporters who are covering the issues and the sidelines of the very conference of the MPP.
It's a cowardly, barbaric, and a dastardly act. I just can't understand why somebody would just open fire on unarmed civilians. This is despicable. So we woke up this morning. We've been going around trying to check up on them, and that's what I've been doing now. It's so barbaric, so barbaric.
But do you have confidence in the police with what has really happened? Do you still believe that the police can really take care of this conference?
I mean, first of all, I think. Take it easy. I think for the police already, you know, they are doing their best in terms of providing security for even our delegate who are being escorted to Tamale. I'm not too sure if they also expected some of these developments. Nonetheless, I think we need to get to the bottom of this matter. It's absolutely barbaric. Barbaric.
So what advice would you have for the NPP supporters who are there before the conference?
I think this is deliberate provocation. I think this is deliberate provocation, and for me, if we, you know, just to provoke our party supporters, I call on them to just remain calm as we get to the bottom of it. Thank you.
You will definitely
Emmanuel Lante speaking to Samia Uku, and he's one of the contestants for the National Youth Organizer position of the MPP. Again, pictures coming from inside one of the theaters or the wards of the Tamale Teaching Hospital, where we have 9 victims of a gun shooting incident that occurred between the hours of 2 a.m. and 6 or 4 a.m. In the Tamale metropolis. We're being told that the incident happened at a suburb, Abuabo to be more precise, and we've had correspondents who have said the police are pursuing the lead so far they've received and try to pick up from this very incident, and we'll make sure that investigations quickly commence to ensure whoever perpetrated this very incident is also apprehended. Well, so that's the incident there, but again, the Joynews team bringing you the best comprehensive coverage you can ever get as far as this very National Delegates Conference of the MPP is concerned. We know that it is taking place from tomorrow, Saturday, the 12th of April 2014, where we have about 5,200 delegates and over of the MPP who will be part of the voting process for various positions of personalities to occupy national executive positions of the party as well. And apart from those 5,200 delegates, there will also be observers as well as specially invited delegates for the event. Now we continue with our regular programming, and Rima will continue with his guests.
About the MPP.
So, but has such a thing happened before, whenever you gather around trying to have fun?
This is my first time of hearing it in Tamale, and it happened to me for the first time. I have never heard of that.
Would you advise that the fanfare be curtailed or even continue to go on as...
No, it should continue to go on. Even if they kill us all, you are on this earth to enjoy your own self. Nobody can curtail your enjoyment. Even if they discharge me today, I'm going to join the fanfare. Now nobody can stop us from having our fanfare. It is a right to do what we like, provided it doesn't affect us.